Good morning, everyone. My name is Linda Logan. I'm the chairperson of the Purchasing from People with Disabilities Advisory Committee, and we are here today to be treated to a presentation by Fred Weber and Kyle Radford from WorkQuest, and they run the nuts and bolts of the so-called state use program. So we are also being joined by Commissioner Alvarez. So get ready, and I guess I will turn it over to you, Kyle and Fred.
Thank you, Ms. Logan. Kelvin, are we ready to go ahead and with our presentation?
Yes, I think so. I think everybody it's a little past. It's 10:47, so you're correct. I think we need to begin the presentation. Fred.
Okay. All right. Well, Kyle, if you'll take over the screen, and we'll walk through our program. And what we've been asked to do today was kind of give a little bit of an overview of the program. And first of all, I want to thank Ms. Logan and Kelvin for allowing us to still be able to kind of give this program overview. I know last week was a bad week for everybody that lived in Texas. I hope you have your plumber on your schedule and are getting ready to get everything fixed. I know around my house that's what we're doing. So again, thank you all both for allowing us to have the program overview for WorkQuest. And so what I wanted to do was just kind of walk through a bit of the history. We have quite a number of slides and presentations, and I'll do the first part, and then I'm going to turn compliance and some of those other things that we do on to Kyle at the end of the program. But first of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about the program, how the program has grown, program history. And the TWC Purchasing from People with Disabilities Works Wonders program, we commonly, as Ms. Logan pointed out, referred to as the State Use Program, was established in 1978 as a pathway for providing employment opportunities for Texans with disabilities through contracts with state entities. Currently, we have 106 nonprofit and state entity, we call them community rehabilitation programs. Some programs call them nonprofit NPAs, but during this presentation, we'll refer to our CRPs, them as CRPs, participate in the program. And through the CRPs, the program employed approximately 5,500 Texans with disabilities. From the program's inception, its purpose has been to assist CRPs in employing individuals with disabilities through identification and securing of contracts for products, services, and temporary employment services. Prior to the Texas Workforce Commission, the Texas Council on Purchasing with Disabilities expanded CRP reporting early in the early 2000s when it began tracking CRP's outplacement of individuals with disabilities into employment in the community. The focus on placement in competitive integrated employment, which we'll refer to as CIE, has continued to increase since the program's transfer of the oversight to the Workforce Commission in 2015. The purpose of the program is clearly outlined in our enabling legislation, Chapter 122, the Human Resources Code. The purpose is to further the state's policy of encouraging and assisting persons with disabilities to achieve maximum personal independence by engaging in useful and productive employment activities, and in addition, to provide state agencies, departments, and institutions and political subdivisions of the state with a method for achieving conformity with requirements of non-discrimination and affirmative action in employment matters relating to persons with disabilities. A little bit how the program works. This is a chart that we've used for a number of years. The program is overseen by TWC, Texas Workforce Commission, who certifies and recertifies CRPs to participate in the program. With the assistance from the Comptroller's statewide procurement division, TWC also approves all products, services, and temporary employment services and sets the fair market price for customers. As outlined in Chapter 122 Human Resources Code, TWC's advisory committee makes recommendations to the commissioners on program performance goals, CRP certification, and program objectives. CRPs employ the individuals with disabilities and fulfill the program's contracts. They also provide training, education, outplacement services for individuals with disabilities. And our customers, which are our state agencies, political subdivisions, receive the products and services which provide the employment, and the state agency has oversight over the program. And then in the middle there, WorkQuest is the central nonprofit agency that works with all three to identify, secure the contracts, train CRPs, market the program, provide billing, invoicing, and perform customer service along with many of the other functions. So I think this is a good representation of the agencies and how the program works. No state appropriations are received to fund the program, so costs are covered by a percentage of the sale of the products, services, and temporary service employment. I just kind of a little bit of a fact there that so the way the program is funded, when we receive invoice, process it, and those funds also cover all the expenses for the program, not only for CNA but TWC and advisory committee, travel, and all expenses associated with the program. Currently, well, this is always a revolving number, but in our last annual report, we have 106 CRP locations across the state. You'll see just kind of a map there showing stars. That's not the total number. We have a lot more in Austin, San Antonio, Houston. That's just the map there showing the location. The type of disabilities of individuals employed through the program works wonders. Just to give you an idea, is a listing there. Intellectual disabilities, mental health condition, physical impairment, learning disability, chemical disorder, visual impairment, deaf, hard of hearing, brain injury, and other, which make up our largest categories. The total annual wages and benefits paid to people with disabilities employed through the program increased by 30% since 2016. Went from 39.2 to 50.8 million. Annual wages and benefits to people without disabilities, because we're asked this sometime, increased by only 22% in the same time, the 12.6 to 15.4 million. So there is a is a chart there kind of showing the employment growth, and we've only done this since 2016, and basically showing the amount of wages. In the previous year, the Works Wonders program provided approximately $169.6 million in products, services, temporary employment services to 220 state and local government agency customers, including state agencies, counties, schools, cities, and political subdivisions. I wanted to point out that in this in the program, a large percentage of our business is done with. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. I'll bring that up in the next slide, Kyle. A large number of our business is done with cities, City of Houston, Travis County, and I wanted you to know and that cities and counties are permissive by law. They may use the program if they would like to. All of the program requirements, they still go for review and pass through the Texas Workforce Commission and such. But it is a voluntary program, and I think it's a tribute to not only those cities that want to help the CRPs in their respective areas, but I think it's quite a tribute to the work that the CRPs do and perform, because the cities continue to come back and request our services that these CRPs use. Maybe just a few types of products that we have and that we sell. 3-ring binders. I know Jim Meacham is on the call on the advisory committee. That's not why we put it first here. We just had listed our some of our office supplies: 3-ring binders, writing instruments, self-stick pads, copy paper, toner, some safety equipment, safety vests, hard hats, roll-up signs, and then we have some other maintenance items: cleaning chemicals, toilet tissue, floor pads, and then we have some other award items as well in our types of products. As far as types of services, I won't read through all of them, but we do a lot of outdoor services, demolition services, flood control. We have a freight and logistics service that we provide, and then indoor services, carpet maintenance, janitorial maintenance, and then office assistance that we do. Also binding, mailing, microfilming, and document destruction. Just to name a few of the type of services and such that we have. As we look into temporary employment services, we have again quite a array of services that we provide through our temporary staffing agencies. We have event staffing, food service, maintenance specialist, custodial electrician. We have a classification for just about every type of service that that the state may or may not go out for to search for under temporary employment. There's a lot of the temporary employment staffing. We can't fill every one of the job requirements on the temporary staffing, but we do have the opportunity to provide that to provide those services. This is a chart of just the sales growth in history, sales history, and this is really starting in 1980. So it's really in 5-year increments of the sales, and where we stand to date on our sales history. The program has achieved a 14% growth in sales since 2016. We've gone from about 148.7 to 169.6 million in sales. And when we were talking a little bit earlier about wages, I think this is a good reflection that comparison on the sales versus the wages growth, and you can see that our wages have been increasing since 2016, and that is a reflection back on that about that 30% of wages paid on the program, which is probably, if not the highest, one of the highest percentages of wages going to the individuals doing direct labor on the program. Again, I guess maybe to say this, it's since the inception 40 years ago, Works Wonders program has been one of the most successful of its type in the nation. When we have measured our program on things like percentage of wages, people employed, and such like that, we rank in the top 3 of what I consider the most important factors, and those factors deal with basically really with what monies and support go to the individuals with disabilities.
And Fred, I just want to jump in and welcome Commissioner Alvarez. He joined the meeting during that last section of the presentation.
Commissioner, did you want to speak, or did you want to me to continue?
Continue with the presentation. It's very informative, and if anything, I love hearing that the wages are increasing, and you referenced that since 2016. So thank you and the group for that. We get calls from individuals that are in these programs and say, our kids or my spouse, that's all he talks about is his day at work. And it gives them a meaning, and it gives them something to talk about at dinner. And let me tell you, I love that. And so thank you for the work that you all are doing and for your volunteerism. But this is very informative. I've been writing a bunch of notes. I was writing them as you were speaking, Fred. So thank you for that. Continue. All right. And Kyle, thank you for, the introduction. This is so informative, and I always look forward to, I should have said good morning. So I forgot my sign is good morning. I forgot to say that when I started. I've been learning sign, and I forgot to say that. You threw me off, Kyle. But no, continue with the presentation.
Okay. Well, Commissioner, again, thank you for joining us. And I want to, if you don't mind, I just want to let the group know Commissioner Alvarez is a very hands-on commissioner, and I know that because he attends our Artley Hines Awards and was kind enough to do photographs with all of the workers and stood there for hours taking pictures and such. And I also know that from continually monitoring newspaper and all that from the Workforce Commission, and he travels the state quite a bit promoting employment and employment opportunities, and I see him all around the state. So we are sure lucky to have his interest and support for the program. So
hey, Fred, so I still have pictures of the day that we had our guest speaker that had all those Super Bowl rings, and I have that, and I also have my baseball in my office from that gentleman who was our keynote speaker a few years back. Remember that?
I do, and let me just tell everybody real quick. So Rocky Blyer was was the speaker with all of the Super Bowl rings. He had he has a disability and some things that he was working through in his life. And then we were lucky enough to have Jim Abbott. Yes. And Jim Abbott, I don't know if y'all remember, y'all probably don't because he was a Yankee, but he was the pitcher that didn't have the hand, and had a wonderful, successful baseball career, and just was an outstanding outstanding speaker. So we've had some really good speakers over the years. Okay.
So I have a baseball that he autographed that night. So that was really nice of you to get that for us.
Yeah, everybody got one. I mean, I have to tell you, everybody was he was so kind to do that for everyone. We told everyone to bring anything that they wanted to, and so it was a nice evening. So again, thank you.
So if I may just add one more thing, Fred, and of course, Kyle, thank you for letting me say a few words. You know, I know that we're having this particular meeting, this advisory committee meeting, is specifically to talk about the products and what we do for individuals that are working for us. But you know, this has blown to other things. I mean, it's amazing that we now have with Jason Shaw the first ever deaf chamber of commerce in Texas. We're the only ones that have that. I mean, we're talking about individuals now that are receiving the fruits of all the work that you all have done. So whether it's working or being able to play in a park in South Texas and other parts of the state, I'm seeing parks designated for individuals with a disability. With the help of the commissioners last year, we were able to carve out some money or add some money to First Robotics, who won the contract last year. And we specifically have robotic competition for individuals that are deaf. And so can you imagine that? I mean, so it's just more than what, you know, hiring these individuals, but we got to provide them with the skills early on, and being able to do STEM related types of hands-on training is very important. But I have learned so much, Kyle and Fred. I have learned, and all the guys that work there, and even from our staff, you know, with Cheryl Fuller and Kelvin, and of course, Howard, I've learned so much about disability and folks, you know, what are their needs and how can we be more supportive than I've ever learned. And I will continue to support this population. And so I just wanted you to know that. And so, Fred, I appreciate the comments that you made. I know that I only get to attend these meetings or your conference or your luncheons or whatever they are once a year, but we're always working on ways to improve the quality of life for individuals with a disability. So thank you for that. And the commissioners and we're all committed to making sure that we provide the best services and the best care for these individuals.
Well, Commissioner, thank you for your comments. I was thinking while you were talking about that, on all of that, and I was thinking about the biggest industry that we have right now seems to be in the logistics area, with Amazon and with all of this. And then I think you probably have toured the Austin Lighthouse over there, and you see what kind of program that they have for logistics and the hundreds of people over there and what they're doing for logistics services for the military and the general GSC. I know Jim's on the call as well, but you know, we're doing a lot of jobs and services that are not only important, but they're pertinent to what you were saying as far as is being able to get folks trained and working out there in the competitive integrated employment arena.
And let's remember this, Fred. And I keep failing to remind folks that our focus is not to get these individuals jobs, but it's to get them careers. And so I keep forgetting to inform when I speak to this group, it's careers that you've put these people in, and they're very proud of it. And so I love the fact that your mission statement mentions opportunities to achieve and sustain economic prosperity. It's in your mission statement. So thank you for what you do for people with a disability.
Well, thank you again. Thank you again. All right, Kyle, how we function. So WorkQuest is the central nonprofit agency under contract by TWC to administer the day-to-day activities of the Works Wonders program. Works Wonders was founded in 1978, and its mission is to develop and implement business marketing initiatives which provide employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities. And the primary way we do that is through the Works Wonders program. We are headquartered in Austin, and we have 6 separate regional offices around the state. WorkQuest assists CRPs in identifying and securing opportunities for employment through the program. WorkQuest then manages the contract by acting as a point of sale for customers and processing over 65,000 invoices for 2,358 service contracts. We have 930 separate temporary staffing contracts and orders for, we have approximately about 1,800 product lines of products that are currently in our catalog. Role and function of the CNA is to, and these are in statute. Just to let you know, recruit and assist community rehabilitation programs in developing and submitting applications for selection of suitable products and services. Again, those products and services are submitted to the Texas Workforce Commission, and they are submitted to General Services Commission, the Comptroller's Office. We are responsible for facilitating the distribution of orders among the community rehabilitation programs and manage and coordinate the day-to-day operations of the program, including the general administration of contracts with community rehabilitation programs. Also, it is our responsibility to promote increased supported employment opportunities for persons with disabilities, recruit and assist qualified nonprofit organizations that are managed by members of racial minorities, women, or persons with disabilities, and are in the process of qualifying as community rehabilitation programs. Under our marketing and marketing support services, we are responsible to provide assistance to community rehabilitation programs regarding solicitation and negotiation of contracts, direct marketing of products and services to consumers, research and development of products and services, public relations activities to promote the program. Also, under marketing and marketing support services, customer relations, education and training, accounting services related to purchase orders, invoices, and payments to community rehabilitation programs, and then any other duties designated by the Workforce Commission. Under the marketing of products and services, maybe just a little bit of background on that. WorkQuest employs full-time region marketing managers who place direct calls to customers and attend or host trade shows statewide. Also, our marketing managers cover product, services, and temporary services regions statewide with office. This is a location of our offices: Abilene, Austin, Corpus Christi, Fort Worth, Houston, Lufkin, and San Antonio. We also have a printed and also an online catalog, but we produce annually to showcase all the products and services provided by member CRPs and supplemented with a mid-year product update to include newly approved products. We also will do features on new items and spotlight on marketing items that we'll send out, maybe seasonal items, maybe it's coolers or something to that effect, just to get it out in front of agencies, our marketing, those marketing brochures with individual items as well. Public relations to promote the program. We do a digital and print newsletter. It's distributed quarterly. We have over about 4,500 Works Wonders program customers and stakeholders. On the annual report, we're happy to say we now TWC has taken over the annual report. We assist the Texas Workforce Commission in the development of the annual report to promote the Works Wonders program growth. And then the marketing report created to promote Works Wonders program to CRPs, customers, legislators, Texas Workforce Commission, and other stakeholders. Also on our website, continually maintained to ensure that information on WorkQuest.com, the online catalog webpage, and the central store webpage is accurate and informative. I'll talk a little bit more about the central store later on as we get through the presentation. Also, we have our Arlie Hines Award Dinner, which the commissioner was just referring to, hosted by WorkQuest to promote the state use program and to recognize the efforts of employees from statewide CRPs. And then the following day, we always have our big annual trade show. Following that, it gives up because the CRPs come in for when we host the dinner for those folks. We also pay for their nominees to come and be a part of the awards dinner to be recognized by the program. And then community involvement. WorkQuest and its staff are active in many community organizations and activities promoting and assisting individuals with disabilities. Okay, so Ray Zaman, he's on the call, heads up our research and development of products and services. New products and services, working with CRPs and customers to identify and develop new products and services for the Works Wonders program, with 67 brand new products and 215 new service contracts were approved in 2020. It was, as you well know, with COVID and the environment, real proud of the CRPs and real proud of the efforts that we've been able to continue to increase new products and services. We also CRP assistant and assignment management. So in assisting CRPs in preparing new product information for the Texas Workforce Commission and overseeing the assignment process to ensure fair and equitable distribution of product opportunities. WorkQuest also processes the sales transactions and payable transactions to the CRP for products, services, and temporary employment service customers. We also have a customer service department and regional marketing staff work daily with customers on inquiries and requests. And currently we have 3 full-time individuals that work on our in the customer service department. Central store, we have a central store and warehouse. It is located here in Austin. It has the ability to showcase new products that we're bringing on and put those in the store. Also provides research and development opportunities for our CRPs, having items in the store. We servicing transaction. We have about 85. When I say customers in 2020, the store is only open to state agencies and political subdivisions in the Austin area. So it's not just 85 people; it's just 85 different agencies that access that store, and then we manage an inventory. Almost 700 different items with the ability to deliver or ship statewide those items. And then our warehouse, we provide shipping and receiving most of our office supply contracts, pens, pencils, copy paper, and such. All are shipped from the central store and warehouse. It saves the state monies for shipping, so they're not receiving. They may order a pen a ballpoint pen and a pencil and another writing instrument, and those could actually come from 3 different lighthouses. So instead of getting, a dozen from one lighthouse and 2 from another and all that, and having all that, we have our store and warehouse combined to ship most of our office supplies, and we have office furniture and some other items that we have in there, and we do take ownership and purchase all of those products from the CRPs. Payments, collections, and grant services. So WorkQuest maintains a line of credit in order to have necessary funds to pay the CRPs for their products and services prior to receiving payment for the ordering customer. So without, many of the CRPs would be unable to fund their operations and remain in business. Not everyone is like that, but it's a huge advantage and probably one of the most recognized. A lot of the CRPs put that down as one of the most important advantages, helping them. In addition to the line of credit, WorkQuest uses its own fund to balance to offset the line of credit, without which much of the line of credit would exceed the maximum amount needed. So, this is we currently are able to. I think by contract we could pay CRPs in 30 days from purchase orders received, but we're able to set that up, and I think our current policy is that we pay within 14 days of shipment or receiving of the purchase orders, and then if we do receive a payment, then those are also before then are immediately released. Collections, payments, collections, and grant services. Collection, distribution of a statement of account notices to customers and performing calls and emails relating to collection efforts for past due balances. So really that collection of those past due balances are really for WorkQuest, to continue to make sure that we can keep the cash flow moving towards to the CRPs. Last year, our technical assistance grants, we had 25 technical assistance grants which were awarded to CRPs in 2020, totaling over $165,000. I do wanted to announce through our there's a federal program called Source America. We were able to secure, I think it was approximately around 30,000. I don't want to overstate it, maybe $25,000 worth of PPE items, mostly in the area of mask, for the CRPs once this COVID this COVID epidemic hit, and we were able to secure those through them, help secure those masks to get those out to the CRPs, which we funded initially. Okay, education and training. I think this is where Kyle gets to take over, and y'all don't have to listen to listen to me for a while. So Kyle, I'm going to turn this over.
Okay, thanks, Fred. Talk a little bit about education and training. That's one of the big things we do, not only in training CRPs, but educating our customers as well. That's something that I'm heavily involved in. We hold training seminars, both in person and virtual. Obviously more virtual than in person lately. Most years we go around the state and are able to provide regional training seminars to the customers. This past year we did it all online. It was still a big success, but we're still able to get out there and provide training to the CRPs, even when we can't be in the same room together. So some of the topics that we've covered in recent years are program compliance, person-centered planning, that's been a big push, contract fulfillment, best practices, understanding competitive integrated employment, government contracting. We've had a safety seminar this year as well for CRPs doing roadside safety. So all sorts of topics that are relevant to the CRPs working in the program right now. We also, employee training programs, participate in training programs held by state agencies and political subdivisions, and then providing training and education to customers on the benefits of employing individuals with disabilities, their requirements as a customer through the program, and then what different products and services are offered by CRPs. Moving over to compliance, looking at certification, Fred talked about TWC certifying and recertifying CRPs. So CRPs have to be certified to participate in the program and then recertified every 3 years. Last year we added 6 new CRPs and recertified, helped 24 CRPs get recertified. So help them secure all their documentation and go through that process with TWC. Something else that we do are documentation of disability reviews. CRPs are required to maintain a documentation of disability for every individual employed on a state use contract employed in direct labor. For those employees, they also have to have on file an employee consent form, so which the individual gives consent to be counted as a person with disability. So it can't just be the CRP counting an individual as someone with a disability. That individual has to consent to that as well. So our region managers perform reviews of this documentation to make sure it's in place. Anytime there's newer transfer contracts during recertification, they review all this documentation, and then there's also random reviews. TWC goes in as well, Kelvin and Howard, and does in-depth staff reviews of all the CRP documentation to make sure that they're in compliance. And then we at WorkQuest will assist the CRPs in addressing any deficiencies that are found during those staff reviews by TWC. One of the newer requirements, this was started back in 2017 when TWC revised the rules, is including person-centered planning for the individuals participating in the program. So each employee with a disability working on a Works Wonders contract must have a completed person-centered plan on file. So those person-centered plans are developed to help the individuals reach their employment goals and match their skills and desires with the tasks being performed at the CRP. This past year, to assist the CRPs in standardizing that process, we worked with TWC to develop what's called an employee-centered vocational assessment planning tool. It's a 8-page form that guides the CRPs through performing an employee-centered assessment, which would identify skills and desires, and then create employment goals and objectives so the individuals could reach those goals, and then including identifying employment opportunities in competitive integrated employment for the employee. We contracted with an industry expert this past year, Dr. Bill Weber, who, if you've heard me present before, Dr. Weber has worked with us before in promoting person-centered planning to the CRPs. He's professor of vocational rehabilitation at SFA University there in Nacogdoches. But we worked with him to develop a training based on that employee-centered vocational assessment, and then actually conduct a couple of trainings for the CRPs on how best to utilize that form when completing those assessments so that they can meet those person-centered planning requirements and help guide those individuals on what their skills and desires would be working at the CRP and then working out in the community as well. WorkQuest, we're interviewing, we're in the interview process to get a full-time staff at WorkQuest to assist CRPs in these person-centered planning goals, VR specialists. So it would help educate CRPs on how to perform person-centered planning requirements, and then step in if needed and perform those assessments as well. That'd be one of their job duties. So we're in the middle of that interviewing process to assist the CRPs with their person-centered planning requirements. The requirement of the program for direct labor hours is 75% of all direct labor hours on state use contracts have to be performed by an individual with a disability. It doesn't have anything to do with their commercial or federal contracts, just state use. TWC has asserted that they don't have oversight of CRP's commercial and federal contracts, just what they do on state use. But CRPs report this information, and any CRP not meeting that requirement are reported each quarter to TWC. And if they fall out of compliance multiple quarters, we'll meet with TWC and WorkQuest to discuss the barriers that they're having to meeting those requirements and steps moving forward to increase employment of individuals. And then after that meeting, TWC could grant a waiver for that quarter for the CRP, but we'll continue reporting that information to them. So some of the barriers we've seen, especially lately related to meeting this direct labor hour ratio, would be something a lot of people are facing: COVID-relating staffing issues, especially with people, with individuals with disabilities that we're serving, folks that are high risk, unable or unwilling to work, or we have individuals who are living in group homes or state supported living centers who've really just been in lockdown since March and aren't able to come to work. So that's affected the CRP's employment of those individuals. We've got VR placement requirements. A lot of CRPs relied on VR for employee placement, but with WIOA and WIOA's CIE requirements, a lot of times VR isn't able to provide those placements to the CRPs. So that's cut off one of the pipelines for finding individuals. Customer staffing requests, especially on our temporary staffing customers, sometimes they request a CRP hire a specific individual for a position, and that person may or may not have a disability if they have someone in mind. And that'll really negatively affect the ratio of smaller CRPs that only have a small number of contracts or don't have that many individuals working on temporary staffing. And then something else are contract size and staffing requirements. So some of our contracts, especially in rural areas, require a 1-to-1 ratio. So direct labor worker and then supervisor as well, or a 2-to-1 ratio. So that would be a 50-50 ratio, or 66 ratio. So that, if it's a smaller CRP, that can also lead to having trouble meeting the 75-25 requirements. So TWC reviews all that information and meets with the CRPs to try to identify ways that they can get that above to the 75-25. All of that information is reported to us through the state use wage reports. CRPs submit what's called the state use wage report quarterly to WorkQuest through an online portal we have set up on our website. And we use that information to report to the TWC, and it's also compiled into TWC's annual report. So CRPs report the information for individuals with and without disabilities working on all state use contracts combined. So these numbers we get are lump numbers. Their total number of employees, total direct labor hours, total wages paid, total benefits paid, what types of benefits are being offered, the number of people, wages, and hours for individuals receiving less than minimum wage, if that applies to a CRP, the number of individual wages, hours for people outplaced into competitive integrated employment, and then the same information for those promoted within the CRP within that quarter. Fred mentioned, and then I said it as well, that we track that outplacement of individuals. We do that through the quarterly report. We've been tracking that for almost 2 decades. In recent years, the reporting's changed and we've started separating outplacement of CIE and upward mobility within the CRP. So we now collect information on who was outplaced and who was reported, not only the CRP working, providing services for all individuals that come into the CRP, but then separating out individuals just that were working on state use contracts. So what is the outplacement activity of individuals working in the program? Because CRPs provide services to not only individuals working in the program, but to other individuals in the community as well. So last year, CRPs outplaced 15% of the employees working in the program, 803. Those were outplaced into competitive integrated employment. Like I said, we also track the number of individuals promoted within the CRP, and last year, 175 individuals with disabilities working on state use contracts were promoted in some way within CRPs. In placement in competitive integrated employment, something that's always been encouraged within the program. Now it's something that we're really with person-centered planning, with these employee-centered vocational assessments, getting individuals out in the community. Some of the incentives given to CRPs to place those employees. TWC recently amended its rules, and part of that rule amendment allows CRPs to request a lower percentage of 75-25 if the CRP is working towards CIE goals. So they can ask for a 50-50 or some other percentage if they have specific projects that would meet competitive integrated employment standards that would promote those goals. Also, we currently have a work service contract with VR supporting on-site employee training in the community. We've had several contracts like that in the past with HHSC and TWC to provide training in the community for people being employed. And then with temporary employment services, we always encourage our customers to hire the temporary employment staff into full-time positions. So as an incentive, WorkQuest has no penalty for those customers wishing to bring a temp on their staff. There's no finder's fee or minimum time they have to be employed, which can be standard with commercial temp companies. But we want those people to get hired in those jobs at the state agencies or the customers, wherever they might be. So we don't have any barriers set for the customers to bring those individuals on full time. Last legislative session, the Texas legislature passed SB 753 that requires all CRPs must transition employees to at least the federal minimum wage by September 2022. TWC has developed a timeline, including the TWC develop transition and retention plan for these employees. So our CRPs that are paying under a 14C certificate are developing these transition and retention plans that detail and set goals how they will transition these individuals to at least the federal minimum wage. We're working with the CRPs in developing and executing these plans. We've helped contract with a process improvement consultant to identify efficiencies and adaptations for the employees, and also researching alternative lines of business which could promote increased wages for those employees. In the recent years, the use of 14C certificates and payment of sub-minimum wage has reduced dramatically in the program. Several CRPs a number of them have already successfully transitioned their workforce to at or above the minimum wage. Just looking since 2016, we're down from 12 CRPs to only 2 CRPs currently in the program pay less than minimum wage. The direct labor hours are down 44%, and the number of individuals making less than minimum wage down 79% from 410 to 85. And you can see that in this chart here. So just down to those 2 CRPs, and we're working with them on their transition and retention plan. Those 2 CRPs now make up below 2% of the total direct labor hours of the program. So we'll continue to work with them into developing those plans to get all of those individuals up to the federal minimum and hopefully maintain their employment whenever possible. With that, I will pass along to Fred, or if there's any questions.
Sorry. Chairman Logan, that concludes our kind of our overview of the program and a little bit about the roles and responsibilities of the central nonprofit agency as well. So just wanted
Well, thank you very much. It's a very impressive presentation and very hopeful. I really enjoyed it thoroughly. And in fact, I hope that I notice it's being recorded. I'd like to watch it again because it's a nice comprehensive take on a pretty complex program, actually. Thank you for putting it together. You did a beautiful job. I'm really pumped.
well, most of that credit goes to Kyle and getting all that PowerPoint together. As you can see, the focus of the program has there's been a lot of focus in the last several years on competitive integrated employment, a lot of focus on outplacements. Maybe that has sort of changed from the beginning of the, kind of from beginning of the program from the startup and such. And so we're going to, as Kyle pointed out, we're going to incorporate those support mechanisms for those rehabilitation services in our job duties as the central nonprofit agency, And again, the success of the program is heavily given to those CRPs because they do and have been providing quality products and services. And I just want to, kudos to those individuals with disabilities that work so hard every day to provide essential services for the state of Texas during these times. I'll just have to say in my heart that we have the best workforce of individuals that you could ever ask for, and the most enthusiastic folks that love to go to work every day, or each one of those individuals with disabilities that enjoy having a job. So, Chairman, thank you again for the opportunity for us to lay out, kind of a little bit about the program.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I know, especially for our new members, this is a really worthwhile introduction to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess if there are no questions, we'll say goodbye.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.